Fog number 215 is Edrick Lee. Edrick was born in Brisbane and played his junior football with East Mount Gravatt before heading to Canberra to play in the then under-20s competition alongside other future Fogs including Josh Papali'i, Anthony Milford and his cousin Branko. Edrick played 133 NRL games after making his debut with the Raiders in 2012. Edrick was the first player to score 5 tries in a game for the Newcastle Knights and, while at the club, was selected to make his Origin debut in Game 3 of the 2020 series. Well, Edrick Lee, thanks so much for your time. What does it mean to you, sitting there today, to be a Fog?
Yeah, it means a lot. Sort of growing up watching the State of Origin, sort of seeing that battle between the maroon jersey and the sky blue jersey. I just remember as a little kid, you sort of mimic when the game's on of what player you're going to be like when you're running around in the backyard or in your lounge room in front of the TV. It's sort of, it gives me goosebumps, sort of coming here today and seeing the maroon again, seeing the Fogs and seeing the players' names and numbers. It definitely, rewarding for the career that I had, and it just gives me goosebumps every time I see it.
Well, let's go back to the start. Where did Edrick Lee grow up and what was it like for you?
Yeah, grew up, born and raised here in Brisbane, grew up in the south side in the Logan area, sort of the oldest of three younger siblings, girls to be exact. So rugby league in my household wasn't the number one sport. It was more or less sort of your basketballs or your soccers and a bit of traditional dancing on the side, Torres Strait Islander dancing. So never really got to explore rugby league until I got older. Started when I was 12. Sort of had to wear everything, protective gear that is, or else my mum wouldn't let me play. So Dad was a bit advocate to get me out there. So we're talking shin pads, headgear, mouth guard. Dad tried to chuck in a box for a laugh, so I had all the uncles down. So and I wore it at first, and it was very uncomfortable. I don't recommend it to anybody else, but that was my starting journey for footy. And then it just, progressed over time. And that's how, sort of loved the game of rugby league. So
was it your dad that sort of took you down at 12 years of age, or did you also want to play? Was it ever on your radar to play footy? Were your mates doing it?
No, it never was. Yeah, my mates were doing it at school. One of my schoolmates just asked me, you should try rugby league. And I was like, yeah, you know what, we play in the backyard a lot. And we sort of play at the beach that never gets a chance to play. And it was always a bit of the softer sports, and given I'm the only boy in my family, Mum wanted to protect me as sort of long as she could, and I thought, just take it as a chance to meet more friends, and I took sport as a way to sort of create a bond with a brotherhood or friendships that you could create outside of your own family, and I guess the camaraderie that sports gives is sort of allows you to make more friends and I guess be more better as a person as well.
Were you always a winger?
Nah, I was never not. Was a bit chubby, sort of a bit slow as well. So I was very good with the hands and hand-eye coordination. So I guess that part of it sort of does help with many sports. And sort of as I got into more active football and all sports, the sort of everything trimmed off me, had a growth spurt, and then 14, all of a sudden I'm tall and fast, which is the crazy part.
So you're growing up playing for East Mount Gravatt, and all of a sudden you start losing weight, growth spurt, etc., getting that pace.
Yeah.
When did it become serious for you? When were you noticed?
I was noticed when I was probably 15 playing in the Rival Live Cup for high school. Went to Cavendish Road, so they had a rugby league program at the time, and we sort of was playing front row. Everybody else was in every other position, so back then you had some key clubs with key high schools. You had your Northsiders like the Wavels were with Broncos, and then go down the coast, your Kibra Parks, your Palm Beach Currumbin schools were with Gold Coast. So you had a lot of strength competition in Brisbane, and I was playing front row, and I was the only guy that could sort of tackle guys with the kickoff sometimes. So which sort of made it a little bit of a standout, but back to the sort of region where I played was just to create friends, and that was when it sort of the rugby league scene kicked on of seeing how serious it could be.
How'd you end up at Canberra then?
Yeah, sort of playing for sort of the school football, and then managed to go over into South Logan. So that was another sort of pathway that Canberra had at the time in the Logan region, and that was how it strung off, and happy to guess, take the leap of playing and sport and trying to take opportunities, and that was one that I took with both hands.
Because you were playing at that time too when the under-20s, the NYC competition was in vogue in the NRL as well. So a number of young Queenslanders ended up at Canberra, as they've done over many, many years, right back to Mal Meninga days, etc. So what was that like going from Brisbane to Canberra to play in the under-20s?
Yeah, it's cool, I guess, to see that pathway of fellow Logan guys playing at South Logan get the opportunity to go into Canberra and progress with their rugby league. And we didn't know where Canberra was at the time, so we were like looking up, where the hell is Canberra? And we found out, I didn't find out it was one of the coldest places until I got there. So no one told me that was the coldest place in sort of the country. And everyone was sort of gearing me up saying, there should be a beach around the corner. Nearest beach is 2 hours away. So you're sort of weighing it up. But at the time, you're sort of young and relishing the opportunity to sort of progress in your rugby league. And I guess moving away from home was a big thing as well. And wanted to try and become sort of a leader within my community and my family of sort of moving away from home and trying to make something out of myself.
Because you went at a time when the Raiders under-20 side was really strong, and remarkably, a few of those players that you were playing with went on to become Fogs as well.
Yeah, that's right. Sort of when Canberra first come in the competition, under-20s, they were outright winners, and they've sort of been making the finals ever since. So I was lucky enough to go down with a good crew. Went down with Josh Papali at the time. So we sort of strung together a little group where we could sort of keep in touch with each other and not miss home as much. And I guess that made sort of being planted in Canberra a little bit easier. Although the weather and the conditions were a little bit tough, Canberra's a big country town, and I guess it just fitted in well. I think sort of moving from Brisbane out to a country place, you sort of fit in really well.
So you're playing with the under-20 side and going really well. The under-20 Raiders team was a very good team. When did the possibility of playing NRL enter your head?
Oh, it never did for me. I played sport just purely for the fun and for the friendships and the mates. I didn't know you could make rugby league a career. Didn't know you get sort of it could be full-time or professional. My dad was always harping on me about making sure I'm working, so he used to get a little bit filthy at me that I was going to train to work. He couldn't understand that aspect, so he was like, make sure you get a second job on the side, do something so to fill in your time. And I think he just couldn't realise the fact that professional rugby league player is full-time. You're doing your training, your preparation, and that probably didn't hit me until when I got the chance to do a pre-season training with the NRL, sort of leaning on a few of the players that taught me that you can make a career out of this. You can sort of, if you do the right things leading in, your preparation, your skill, your communication, and letting your body grow into the rugby league, it sort of gives you the best chance to make it a career.
You played a trial in 2012, I think it was, against the Melbourne Storm to give you a taste before you ended up making your debut later in the year. What are your memories of that first year stepping up to the senior level?
Yeah, I remember it pretty clear as day. As soon as you asked me that question, it just went to that vision straight away of the week. I remember telling my mum that I'm going to be playing against grown men, and then mum asked for me to put on a headgear, shoulder pads, shin pads.
Nothing changed.
Yeah, nothing changed. She wanted me to put on the full thing just to get that sort of opportunity to play against grown men. I was sort of a stick figure. I think I was just pushing over 90 kilos, so didn't put any weight on as since. And it was just a nice opportunity to sort of put the work that we sort of gained in the pre-season and get the opportunity to play against your general stars that are out there every day, every week.
And you also got to play for Queensland that year in the under-20s matches at Penrith. What are your memories of being told you were going to play under-20s for Queensland? Yeah,
I was stoked. That was my first ever representative jersey in rugby league, so couldn't believe it at the time when they put that initiative through of having the first under-20s comp. Was sort of overwhelmed and didn't know what to expect going in. The group that I played with, they were all pretty much big names you used to hear throughout Brisbane, throughout high school, and I was like, this is cool. Like, I get to rub shoulders with Tau Moga, Dylan Napa, Lockie Morena, we had Mitchell Fry. So all these guys I used to hear in sort of high school, used to love to watch and then get the opportunity to play with them. And their first Origin game under 20s, it was, sort of remarkable. Getting to meet those guys, and then, like I said, sport for me was just creating friendships, and I still have yarns to those guys now.
Yeah, and the New South Wales side was stacked
Exactly,
as well. I think Boyd Cordner was captain in New South Wales in that year, and Moses Mbai played for Queensland as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then you had our Canberra fellow mate and Shannon Boyd, and I just remember me and him sort of like almost arcing up, ready for a fight, and then we had to back it up the next week, playing together on the same team. So I guess that rivalry goes all the way through from the NRL to the under-20s competition.
So that really was the start of the ascension for Edrick Lee, but is it fair to say in 2013, when you broke your arm, it was also the start of injuries? And you look back now, and do you look back on those times with the arm and then the ligaments in the foot, etc., all the injuries that you sustained? How do you look back on that?
Yeah, I look back at that as, I think, a success, I think. Sort of just having a setback sort of returns you for success. And probably one thing you don't hear through rugby league is the injuries that do happen along the way, and the support networks that you lean on. And given 2013 was my first major injury that I've ever had, and living so far away, just remember missing home. And I think the group that in Canberra sort of took me under their wing, sort of made me understand the process of an injury does happen through rugby league. You can't play the game forever, or rarely a few would play on consecutive years without injury. So they said injuries are a part of rugby league, and it's how you get through it and return. And over my career, I've managed to, well, I wouldn't say manage, but I've managed to have an injury and then have a setback and then turn it into success and come back and play, which is sort of the question you always ask yourself is after every injury, you wonder if you can play again or play at the level that you did before your injury. And I think to overcome those challenges sort of sets you up for life after football, definitely. In
2015, named the 18th man in the lead up to Game 3 of that series. What was that like?
Oh, it was scary. Remember getting the phone call from Mal and sort of in my apartment in Canberra. Missed a couple of phone calls because I just didn't think anything of it. Then our sort of Raiders manager said, "Now you got an important phone call coming your way," and I was just like, what is it? Because I was like pretty nervous. I don't like to answer phone calls I don't know. So they're like, just pick it up. Next one that comes through, pick it up, please. And picked it up, and it was Mal on the phone. He sort of said that you'll come into camp as 18th man, and I just remember being frozen on the phone. It was crazy. Had tears run down my face because I was like, this is like, a kid that's never made any representative football growing up. And to play 20s I thought was huge, but never thought to get to the NRL, the 4X Maroons, to be a part of that was never going to happen. And once I had the first introduction, it was definitely a scary moment because just seeing all the players that you watch on TV consecutive years, time and time again, I just remember to pinch myself every day or every training session.
Well, you spoke about overcoming the injuries. You spoke about the highs of playing under 20s and the highs of being on the radar, being called into camp to be that emergency player. Then in 2016, I suppose, the lows of your career with the banning for 12 months after the emerging Origin camp. How difficult a time was that for you?
Yeah, it's sort of stuff that you don't realise that happens with rugby league. That sort of outlook of being a role model and professional athlete sort of lives, after hours and during hours. So it's around the clock work that you've got to be ultimate professional. And I think you sort of come up with challenges or certain situations where you've got to think long term. And I think coming up with those final challenges, you sort of realise that what you do have is a unique position, and a lot of people want to see you succeed, or a lot of people want to see you fall. And but overcoming those challenges, turning it around, and I guess you can only focus on your day-to-day work, and focusing on the present sort of allows you to be the best person you could be.
Do you reckon, as you look back now, the learnings from that time were pivotal in your future success?
Yeah, I think it sort of comes with it, I think. There's a bit of learnings, but you also, you sort of only get the opportunity to live life once, and those times do hurt you in the end. You sort of got to learn from it, try and steer yourself in the right direction, and those moments like that sort of you sort of try not to bring it back up because it does sort of weigh you down a little bit, but you got to try and turn the right direction and head forward.
So after Canberra, you headed to the Shire to play with Cronulla. How'd you end up there?
Yeah, sort of an opportunity to see the world for me, to see the country. Was in Canberra for a long time, and I remember travelling to Sydney, travelling up the towns or travelling to Brisbane. So I thought it'd be a nice opportunity for myself to be embedded in the community of Sydney and try and get over the stigma of everyone from Canberra don't like living in Sydney and vice versa. So I just wanted to try it out, and my next destination after Canberra was the Shire, and wonderful place and wonderful learnings of rugby league again.
Beaches.
Yeah, the beaches. Well. But it was just a nice opportunity to learn the game of rugby league. I felt like I was still fresh into the game and didn't really know rugby league, and didn't get to meet any more coaches. And then Cronulla gave me the opportunity to work with different coaches to sort of understand rugby league again.
Yeah, it's having started so late, and I suppose having the mindset of just wanting to play with your mates. The reality once you get to the top level is that you really have to work hard and understand the game. Is that something that at times may have been a little bit overwhelming for you?
Yeah, it's like a learning at the top level. I guess when a lot of new guys come in, you do have the raw element, which is good in some aspects, but then once you get to dissect the game and how the game plan works, you sort of got to understand of like kick finishes, kick spots, and certain times, certain games, or when you can sort of step outside, different reads, so it's more complex than what it is. And I think hearing from a different club and a different coach, along with different players, you sort of get to dissect the game of rugby league. It looks pretty for 80 minutes, but there's a lot that happens within it.
Then Newcastle, joining the Knights, where you were the first player for the club to score 5 tries in a match. What are your memories of your time at Newcastle?
Oh, it's another growth for me. Sort of another community where that really took me in. Another part of the country where I got to explore the beauty of Newcastle. Like you mentioned, having the 5 tries is sort of a nice way to sort of recap my time at Newcastle. But the community for me was lovely. Sort of a gem, as some would say. Some would say the 8th wonder of the world as well. So wonderful place to sort of understand the community of Newcastle and the history that's been there as well. And I think to get the 5 tries, the day leading in was a lot of the 5 tries, and just the community really support that team. They got the one team, one town mentality, and I guess the rich history there as well.
And as well as being a Fog, you're one of those Newcastle players that has played now at Origin level. In 2020, the opportunity came. Take us back to that year and the fact that Xavier Coates was injured. Was it ever on your mind that you could be the man that could maybe play for Queensland?
No, I never thought. Like we've spoken about, injuries sort of happened throughout the year. In the 2020 year, I sort of had an injury there, re-broke my arm, so I don't think I'd get the chance to ever either be called into the squad or don the jersey. So for me, my main focus was just to get back on the field with a smile on my face and just play footy again, play for what it is, just enjoy it with your mates and enjoy playing for the town. And going through the injury sort of allowed me to sort of enjoy my football, which then sort of just took it in its own hands of getting called into the squad. And once I got named into the squad, I didn't think I was ever a chance to play. I was just wanting to really help the squad and achieve the outcome of winning the series. That was my main goal. My main focus wasn't to even a chance to play. It was just to help the squad sort of bond, create friendships, and sort of work hard for each other, because there's 3 games of back to back. So it wasn't going to take the 7, it was going to take everyone within the squad. I know that. And game 3 was unbelievable to get the call on captain's run, which was sort of another one to be unexpected, and less than 24 hours to sort of prepare. And
what was your initial reaction when you found out you were going to play?
Oh, I thought Wayne was lying to me. I thought he was joking to me. We've got a good relationship, Wayne, so I thought he was joking to me. So And then I thought everyone else knew the joke as well, and I was the only one left out. So, and then, once I heard it from a few of the trainers as well, it was like, mate, you're playing. So, didn't really hit me until we got on the bus coming up from Gold Coast to Brisbane that, no, I'm actually playing this time. Like, I'm not coming to support the boys or G them up. Like, I'm actually putting the boots on, get the jersey on and run out. So, it was all a blur once we got into Suncorp. Initial testing for the COVID year. But once you run out and you see your loved ones and you get the Donna jersey, hear the roar at Suncorp, it's, all those memories of Origin coming to your mind and you know you got to play for the jersey.
Was that one of the most nervous weights, the testing in that time, the COVID era, to think that, oh, please, I hope I haven't caught anything. I don't want to miss out. Was it nervous?
Oh, it was. Like, anyone that had sort of any symptoms was sort of isolated from the get-go. And, you sort of play minds on each other's about, like, who's coughing, who's not coughing, or who's going to be shown a positive testing. So it was an initial process going into every training camp is you had to go through that process, and everyone was terrified. You're waiting for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Some people would try and muck up people's testing scores. So there's a lot of games within the game, but it's definitely I was more nervous than playing footy, waiting for it.
What was the experience like? Everything you imagined or more?
Yeah, everything I imagined. Got called into camp a couple of times, so you got to experience what it takes in the build-up leading into a game. So. And then you see familiar faces over the years that you play with. The Queenslander crew is sort of through the emerging camps all the way through to playing. You sort of keep in contact with one another, check in, and I guess that's just probably the Queenslander way that everyone helps each other along the way through at regular footy. And then when you get into rep, it's just like everyone's got that great friendship that's shown on the footy field. So it was everything that I thought of, everything I wanted it to be, and it's just unreal to debut alongside my cousin and sort of have the family here in Brisbane.
And a win and a try.
Yeah, win and a try. I think that's probably the ultimate sort of dream, to having a debut into a sort of decided game, a lot on the line. And then you look at the sort of captain's run, me getting called in, it's sort of anything could happen type thing, and just really, stayed present, stay in the moment. Try not to do anything outside of what expected. Just go out there, do your job, and stop the guys in blue and lift the trophy at the end.
Well, as we discussed before, the highs and lows, that was the last game you played for almost a year. You missed the whole of the 2021 season. How tough was that?
Yeah, it's sort of crazy roller coaster of rugby league is, and you forget how tough it is sometimes. To have a full year out after sort of getting your first representative jersey, you think you're sort of you're finding your feet, you're starting to put days together where, you're moving forward and then you get pushed back. And I think over time, during that period, we're sort of questioning again, like, can I play rugby league? Doctors telling you you'll never be able to run again, jump again. And I think you sort of, in the back of your mind, you sort of want to prove them wrong and sort of see what's inside of you, what's instilled inside you, the hunger to go out there and play, but the hunger is taking them small steps into getting that jersey back on to just run out the field, and work your way into the team. And that's probably the way I saw it, is bouncing back from injuries is sort of a challenge within myself, and that challenge I take on day to day.
It's not easy though when you have the taste of something like Origin to be sitting and watching mates go around for the next 12 to 18 months or so based on injury. How difficult were those times?
Yeah, I think it was very difficult initially. Just sort of once I first got injured, I sort of didn't really want to believe it, and then once I sort of seen the scans and the process of the injury, you sort of map out on the recovery process and how long it's going to take, and what are the steps along the way, and you're sort of doing your own research on the side and trying to speed it up. And we're just taking it day by day, which probably allowed me to focus on everything else around the injury, focus on my family, focus on my body, focus on the community of Newcastle as well. So it allowed me to keep distracted as well as putting energy towards the injury, which allowed it to heal properly over time. And I think that's probably the best part about, injuries within rugby league clubs, you really fall back on the community and your family and the club to help you along the way. And I think those initial phases where they help you, sort of, it definitely embarks on you. So when you go back to where you had your injury, you sort of feel more grateful and you realise that injuries are part of rugby league.
Well, you ended up back home signing with the Dolphins when they ended the competition. Unfortunately, injuries striking again, just the one game. How do you look back at the way your career ended?
Oh, I think it's success for me because I think I started rugby league. Had asked me what my dream was never to be a rugby league player. It was just to be a provider for my family. That's the way I was probably brought up and taught. So rugby league was never a dream for me. It was probably a thing that I like to watch, and sort of my attributes leaned towards rugby league, which sort of fitted the mold to play rugby league and take it on. And wouldn't change anything for the world. It's a blessing to sort of wake up every day and get up out of bed and just do what you do. And I think that's probably the best part about life experiences. It takes you far and wide, which rugby league did for me. And I know injuries are along the way of rugby league, but highs and lows, and sort of enables me to tell a story of whatever you put your mind on or something you can pick up later on. It could definitely make something out of it.
What are you doing now?
I work for a crew called Young Guns Container Crews. They're unloading and shipping containers in the Port of Brisbane. They also work internationally, New Zealand and Canada, and work all around the country. It's a nice, refreshing challenge of having just retired, so come out into my first job, and I think that's probably something that is challenging again, but it's a nice challenge to have. Gets me up every day and wanting to sort of understand the business and sort of be better and help everyone around me.
Who had the biggest influence on your career?
Definitely my parents. They sort of steered me and showed me things a little bit early and that cuddled me and loved me. So they've sort of helped me in my career of rugby league, and I think taking it on is it's definitely a big move of moving Brisbane away to Canberra to try and initially start your career. And I think if you can sort of stick it out, but understand the foundations that rugby league teaches you as well, your discipline, your preparation, your understanding of what's around you, sort of enables you to be the best person you could be away from footy, and it steers you from day on, day on, day on.
Well, for a young bloke on the south side of Brisbane that just wanted to play with his mates, over 130 NRL games, representing your state in under-20s and at the highest level at State of Origin, Indigenous All-Stars as well. It's been a pretty good career.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's bloody one I can't believe that actually happened. Like you mentioned, just wanted to play footy to get mates essentially. Got 3 younger sisters, so felt like I didn't have a brother. I always wanted that brother, and football provided that for me. Moving to different places, getting to see more of the nation, and I'm lucky enough now I have a partner with 5 kids, and 4 of those are born at every club I've been at. So it's a constant reminder when I look at my family of the success I've had, and I can't wait to instill the success into my kids.
Well, Fog number 215, Edrick Lee, thank you so much for your time and congratulations on a wonderful career.
Thanks for having me. Love it.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Fog's Queenslander podcast. If there's a Fog you want to hear from, leave a comment to let us know. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos.